I mean, why is it we've done more live shows for
After
losses? Yeah. Are we
I
just
don't know because honestly I would say when a couple minutes were left in the game, I was like, all right, this live show is going to be great. We're going to be in a good mood. We're going to be excited, coming off a good victory. But then that last minute of and we'll get into it. But the last minute of that game, good gracious, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Roll Tide. Roll Tide always.
Roll Tide,
always support.
Of course.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we can work our way backwards, but you have to start with the last 30 minutes. I'll set the stage, Roger. I'll let you get into it. But 30 seconds left in the game.
Well, hold on. Before we get started.
Oh, you're right.
Before we get started, another week has gone by. Cheers, and of course, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Well, let me wash it down there, Raj.
Okay. With more water, yeah.
I'm sorry. There you go. So, 30 seconds left.
Yes.
You have the ball, get fouled. Yep. You're up 3, and you're at the free throw line to shoot 2. Which, by the way, I don't know what happened at the free throw line. Did we just not practice it at all for the last week?
I was just getting ready to pull that up. Let me see. Free throw line, we were, 17 for 26 today. Had we hit a couple of those, we would have won the game.
I mean,
the worst part about the free throws was Holloway missing all 3. I believe that was in the first half.
That was in the first half. So you have time to recover, but it's if you had took 3 threes, you wouldn't have made all 3. I mean, you wouldn't have missed all 3. So it was just like, come on. But I think sometimes that's the thing about free throws. It gets in your head, and you miss the first one, you don't feel comfortable. Then you miss the second one, and by the third one, you're just done. But yeah. So 30 seconds left. Phylon hits 1 out of 2. You're up 4.
Yep.
Tennessee's got the ball. You're just thinking, okay, let them get to the hole if they've got to, or if they get a quick 2, that's fine.
That's what I was thinking. Guy dribbles down, gets the bump from Grant Nelson.
Yeah.
And the and one. And I'm thinking the same thing you just said. I'm like, if he gets that close, let him just go in for a layup. You'll still be up by 2, no foul.
You're up 2 with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, up 2 with the ball. You could kill the clock. They could foul you. We can go to the free throw line, whatever. But the last thing you want to happen is an and one, because that's almost. Yeah. And the funny thing about the and one was the commentator said, "All right, now Tennessee they need to score quick, but they don't need a 3."
Yes.
And they basically just got a 3-pointer.
Except then they missed the free throw.
Yeah.
And then we get beat on the free throw box out.
Yep.
We foul again. And they had let a lot of stuff go throughout this game, but they made the correct calls. Like watch it. Stevenson just grabbed the guy. He got beat and he just grabbed him.
Yep.
And it was like another. Then they make 2, but that's fine. You know, you're up. I mean, you're tied, but you have the ball, right?
Right.
When you're tied and you have the ball, like, and this one thing I hate that people do, right? If you're down and you have the ball with time, let's say 10 seconds left, right?
Right.
You have to get up a shot quicker because you need to get a rebound in case you miss. But when you're tied and you have the ball, you got to take the last shot.
Take the last shot, yes.
So
regardless, yes.
Phylon basically just, we do I wish there was some way to just go from 20 to 10 seconds without just watching him dribble out there the whole time.
Yes.
But whatever. You don't get Sears the ball. He gets into the hole. I thought he actually had a good drive.
I did too.
Had a tie up instead. We're inbounding the ball. 3 seconds left. 2 timeouts. You don't let it get anywhere close to 5 seconds.
No.
Like nowhere close. And if you can't get that ball inbounds, I'm calling the timeout and I'm switching it. But you can't have that run out and have 2 timeouts. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And when he went for the drive, I'm thinking just go up for the drive and do a ugly layup and just draw contact, and that'll take you to the free throw line and we can hit those. But none of that happened. So
nothing. Yeah, it's like you took the very worst outcome. Hey, if you have the ball in the tie game with 20 seconds left, and there's no shot clock at that point because they're virtually the same. The worst that should happen is overtime.
Yes,
and the best should happen is you win. So you can't. Right. The end game, and our end game execution has been bad in a lot of places.
It's been bad.
Tennessee, at Texas A&M, I think it was bad. I think Arkansas, it was bad. So we're just not playing well. But I'd rather live and die by your best player, and if that's going to be Mark Sears, he has to touch that ball.
I agree 1,000%. That's in any sport. Well, pretty much I'm in NBA or whatever at college, but your best player has to touch the ball in that last possession somehow, some way. And it's not like Mark is a bad shooter. He could hit those.
Like if it was the Lakers, you'd give it to either Luka or Austin Reeves, right? Like one of them would have to be your.
Say what you want to say. I'm actually comfortable with those two taking the last shot. Speaking of the Lakers, right quick, LeBron's going to make All NBA, whether it's first team or second team this year. I do think he's going to make All NBA, so I'll take that. Take that in year 22.
I'm just saying. So you give it to Luka or Austin Reeves or
honestly, I don't know if we want to give it to Luka. Luka has not
JJ
shot the
Redick, or I'm just listening.
Luka, if you look at Luka's shooting the past 2 games, he has not shot the ball well. He's scoring a lot because he's shooting a lot, but just I don't know what's there, what's missing, but hopefully they get that together.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Okay.
How important or unimportant was it? What did you feel about a freshman taking the ball out, Phylon taking the ball out with those last couple of seconds and getting the 5-second call? Do you think this wouldn't have happened had it been a sophomore, junior, senior, somebody upperclassman? Or
I think it would have been okay with anyone else. Period.
Okay.
We'd had trouble getting the ball in all game.
Yes.
So you need your best person getting in, even if it's Mark Sears. There should be a play with 3.8. There should be a play to Sears to get it in and get it back.
Yes.
So
yes.
What's up, Title? Title has made an
Title, we appreciate you.
Long time.
We got you, man. We appreciate you.
Yep. Kat, I'm saving your other comment because he's already Coach Oates has already made some comment. But she was like, yes, she's laughing at your boy LeBron too.
Yeah.
But
it's all good.
I didn't necessarily even mind that for the first one, right? But he missed a cutter, and I got to go back and look. But he missed a cutter right under the basket as soon as he had the ball. That would have been an easy layup, right? So that was my problem. And then he couldn't find anybody until Youngblood popped open. But you got to call timeout. And then that's part of it. So he's missed a lot of time in the middle of the season, Rodg. So it's kind of like the way Youngblood looked at the beginning. But I'll say this. Defensively today, Phylon looked good. He did on some drives, he looked good. But I saw a post where somebody was talking about Aiden Holloway didn't play for the last 4 minutes. He's been one of your best ball handlers and one of your best shooters. Yeah, I think it was longer than 4 minutes, though. He just wasn't out there for a while. So I don't know what happened there. And that, to me, that was a mistake on the rotation part of it. So that was, but let's keep him. Big Mike. Shout out to Big Mike. I got the elimination chamber over on the left here, so I got it on in the TV in the living room. I watched the women's. Yep. Bianca won. I did not see the Tiffany Stratton Trish Stratus match. I just saw the ending of it. I didn't watch the match, but I'm gonna jump back on it once this is over with. So Cat's with you with me on that one. I would have liked to see Holloway. Yeah, but it seems like even for the majority of time that Holloway was out, it still seems like we were gonna win the game without him, though. You see what I'm saying? It's just like we collapsed in that last minute. So I don't know if that was a big factor, him not playing, but because I feel like we could have won the game without him. Here's the thing, Rodg. If we win, we're not dissecting any of this. Correct. But you lose, and now we're what's all the stuff that led up to it? Yeah. Now you start pointing fingers and doing like, what's going on? What happened? Yeah. Right. But you just, Rodg, when Phylon hit that second free throw, the announcers were already talking about what a big win this was. Yes. For Alabama. Yes. And you did everything wrong for the last 30. Can't think of a good thing that we did for the last 30 seconds. Yeah. I mean, when Mark Sears hit the three, when it was tied up at 70, and he hit that huge three, I thought we had the game in the bag. I felt like the momentum was fully in our favor. I felt like that was a big shot. That was pretty much the dagger. But again, to your point, it's just like the last 45 seconds, everything that we could have did wrong, we just did wrong. Phylon not being able to inbound the ball correctly. And even at that point, I'm like, dude, just throw the ball in. Throw it to somebody big. Just throw it to somebody. Just get the ball in, but don't just hold it for that long because you never want them. You never want them to get the ball back. They got 3.5 seconds. Seems like a short time, but that's a long time in basketball. It is a long time. That's enough time to dribble up the court. So you got to call timeout at that one, Rodg. If you have 2 left, the coach got to call timeout. You got to call timeout. The reason why I thought the Sears shot was huge was because that was a terrible possession. We were dribbling around. We had nothing going on. We all of a sudden we handed off to him, and then bam. So, but it seems like that's how a lot of our possessions go, though. If we can't get to the hole for a layup, we just pass it around, and then someone jacks up a three. So, yeah. Mike, that's the point I was making about Phylon had a really good defensive game. I was watching him. He had active hands. I don't even know if people know one of the steals that he got was basically a 2-on-1 on his side of the ball.
Yep.
We had collapsed down low. They kicked it into the corner for a three-point shooter. Phylon starts to go at him, but then he reads that the guy's ready to swing it, and that's, we get a steal off that. So he really did play well defensively. But that's even a time period where you can do an offense-defense switch, for those two. So he's missing the free throw, although I can't defend Holloway because he wasn't shooting well from the free throw line either. So I don't know. I feel like the coach should have stepped in. And to this one right here, he's going to lose a lot of sleep over that one. He's already come out and basically said it. Where was his quote? I was not good for the last 30 seconds today. I feel like I failed these guys. That's from Oaks. So, look, he's still a great coach. Let's one is not going to define him.
Of course.
But this was not his best work today.
He's gonna receive a lot of criticism, which is due. We all know that. We get it. We understand it. We've been there. Whether it's basketball, football, that's just going to happen. But we still got a big road ahead of us. We'll still be, still looking good. We're not necessarily where we want to be. And with that being said, I want to ask you, so you can for all the listeners and people watching, what does this loss mean for Alabama basketball regarding the NCAA tournament?
You're probably on the 2 line now.
Okay.
They said it's funny when you can tell they don't have as much material to talk about, or they're trying to hype up a game. But they were basically saying that this game was for a 1 seed.
A 1 seed, yes.
Yeah. They basically, Auburn, somebody said Auburn can forfeit the rest of their games and still get a 1 seed, and they're probably right. I mean, even without winning today. But winning today and you only got 2 games left and you've pretty much been the most dominant team all year, they're in a 1 seed, right? Duke is in a 1 seed. They thought Florida had played themselves out of it, and if they lose to Texas A&M today, they'll definitely be out of it.
What about
but now Houston is sliding up in there. Yes. So Houston is now sliding towards the 1 line. They got a big game against Kansas still coming up, and then the Big 12. But they were pretty much saying Tennessee or Alabama was going to get a 1 seed and not both. Okay. I think that's fair. You've lost 3 out of the last 4 games. Is that where we're at now? Or do we? Because
we lost 2 in a row, then we won 1. Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it until you said it like that. God, that made me feel even worse. But
sorry, man. But you're not ending the season in a great way. You still got Florida and Auburn.
Tough games
to close out the streak. So you are most likely. Oh no, I'm sorry. We did have the Mississippi State game in the middle of that too. Forgot about that. So you've lost 3 of 5, I guess is what it is, instead of 3 or 4. But still, you still have the those 2 games to finish. But being on the 2 line is most likely. So
but Mike makes a point. I think if we win the next 2 games, there's a chance we get the 1 seed. That's a huge if.
I think the Auburn one will carry more weight than the Florida one for sure. Going to Auburn and winning, but
that'll be huge. Huge.
I'm not seeing that. So
the
question was where does that put us now? That puts us on the 2 line.
2 seed,
for sure. Yep.
So, and with that being said, once the brackets finally do come out, there's a chance we could be isn't there a chance we could be in the same bracket as Auburn or somebody like that?
Your problem is that if you get 2 1s and 2 2s, you would think they would spread them out. But if Auburn is the first number 1 seed, they should get the worst number 2 seed with the way you do it. So if you say
and we wouldn't be the first,
we wouldn't be the worst.
We wouldn't be the worst number 2. Yeah.
So I think we still avoid them.
And of course, these are all assumptions. These are all assumptions right now. We'll see what happens over the next week or so. So have the SEC tournament to play. But this, I don't know, this game, right? The thing that bothered me about this game tonight or this afternoon was we just looked like a completely better team than Tennessee throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
They got into foul trouble early, which helped us out. Ziegler was out for the majority of the first half. And we were getting a lot of calls, let's be honest. They were getting a lot of calls from Tennessee.
They were. I was shocked because of how physical Tennessee was, and they're at home. I didn't think they'd call it as tight as they did.
I didn't think so either. So, no. I didn't think so either. And
I thought we had
looked like a better team. We played better throughout the game. It was just that last 45 seconds we just crumbled. We crumbled. We let them get back into it and crumbled.
There was a 13-4 run, I think Tennessee went on right in the middle. I'll have to go look at the play-by-play again. It's just we just have those 1 or 2 breakdowns somewhere in the middle because Tennessee's not a good offensive team. They've got 2 or 3 guys maybe, but what was it? Sears played great again. And only 2 turnovers, 4 from 9 from 3. I mean, 24 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. He was playing good. Chris Youngblood had an awful night.
Honestly, there were times I forgot he was on the team because he just. And wasn't it last game when he had 27? Am I
against Mississippi State? Yeah,
Mississippi State. He went off, and then how do you go? And he only had 4 field goals tonight. Like I don't understand how that works. So
I don't think we're so. Here's where you separate yourselves from other teams. We are kind of a free-flowing team, right? Everybody's going to get a shot, which is great at times. But sometimes it's like you're not getting certain guys shots. You're not going to get other guys involved. They almost have to get themselves involved. And if you're Youngblood and you've only taken a couple shots, you're not going to be there later.
It's hard to get going when you're 1
He just doesn't like Mississippi.
Yeah.
No,
it's hard. It's hard to get a streak, and it's hard to get on fire when you're 1-4. You're not really. You haven't developed anything. Yeah. It's almost like warm up still for you.
And so now you've got a guy in Youngblood who's not playing well, and Phylon who's not that great a shooter. With 3.8 seconds left in the game, I'm getting Holloway in the game. Like I don't get that for I'll trade him for almost anybody else in there.
Yeah.
So I'm getting Holloway in there. So
we've
actually got it on as well.
Yes.
I'm watching. Again, I can't tell you who these 2 people
are. Shout out to the Bama Standard Network. If you're not following them, please follow them in the channels. They got plenty of shows throughout the week. Shout out to them. Huge help. We're watching. We're watching the Elimination Chamber 2. So I'm gonna get back on that after this finishes up. But I
would get Holloway on the front. Oh, okay. And there's another person I gotta call out. Sorry, this wasn't even just in the game. Amori has got to play stronger. Like
I text you that. I sent you that text.
I
sent you that text. I sent you that text in the game. I was like, dude, when you're that big, you need to be dunking everything. Man. You got to stop going up to the hole with these weak layups. When you're that tall, when you're that size, you should be able to get an easy 8 per game.
Yes.
He's 6'11", 250. You should be getting 8 to 10 points a game.
Diabate plays bigger.
Yes,
Diabate plays bigger than he does.
He does.
It's crazy. Rod, somebody posted on one of the shows we do, Going Hard in the Paint, Thursday night, 7:30 on the Bama Standard Network. They asked about getting Amori more touches. There were times when you dump it down to him, he's got no moves down there.
I was about to say
he does not play strong, and it's just
he doesn't have great footwork down low. He doesn't have any post.
Wait.
Oh, yes, of course. How can I forget?
This channel, you know what we need to do? We need to get a sponsor just so Rodg can get a Bama mug. All right. So anybody out there?
I like that idea. I really, really like that idea. Yeah. And
why am I getting all the merch? There's your Bama shot glass.
Yeah. I have some down there. I just didn't bring them. This is the one for the suspension bridge that's in Toronto or Vancouver. I'm sorry. When Sydney and I went to Vancouver a couple years ago, there's like this big suspension bridge, and I got anyway. That's just random.
Nice.
That's just a shot glass I got from them. Yeah, Omari, and I text you this during the game. I was like, he's not great down low. He can get you some rebounds and maybe some blocks, but scoring wise, he's just not that guy. Between him and Nelson, they had 12 points combined, and they're both like 6'11". I don't understand this.
6'11", but I feel like I outweigh both of them at times. And like Nelson is slight, so he can't go to the hole strong. I get that. But Amori was supposed to be a big. It's like you say, Rodg. It should be a walking double-double just on putbacks or random touches. But he doesn't rebound strong either. Maybe this is a game that I focused on him, so maybe I'm being a little too hard. But it was just a disappointing game from him in a game that was this physical.
I also feel the same way about Jaron Stevenson at times. He's 6'11". He's a little smaller weight-wise, but I mean, when you're 6'11", and I know you want to shoot all the threes, but dude, you need to be down low a little, get some of these cleanup points.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Nelson did have 12 rebounds today, and Amori with 7, so I get. But yeah, it was just tough to watch at key moments. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know. It was a rough one today. Like you said, in the big picture, you're glad it's basketball. Yeah. Because this loss doesn't hurt you in any major form. You're not even all that worried about the SEC tournament. You do want to keep the double bye.
I'm not even
have as little games as possible.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about the SEC tournament. I'm more thinking the March Madness tournament. So I know you said it doesn't really hurt us, but getting that number 1 seed was crucial, just in the overall landscape of things. But if we end up at a 2 seed, which could possibly happen, I mean, so be it. It's March Madness. Anything could happen in the tournament anyway. So changes up things a little bit. But then again, if we happen to win the next 2 games, we might be back in the same spot with the number 1 seed.
Kind of like your boy Mike said. So you gotta turn your attention to Florida. That game's at home. You got to get that one done.
You have to win that game.
Yeah, and then going to Auburn. Who knows? They're going to be focused, I know, but Auburn will have like almost nothing to play for in that game.
No.
You hope that they're distracted enough to do that. So
yeah. I think had it been another opponent as opposed to Alabama, maybe Auburn sit some players just like, no, we don't even play you guys. But no, it's Alabama. We do not want them winning on our home court.
No, at all. No. And I get that. that. So 12 and 19 on layups. I honestly didn't even think it was that bad at times. So that's and what's up to Way Outsides? Love those guys.
Shout out to Way Outsides too. Yes. Please check them out. I mean, that goes back to the point when we're talking about Big Cliff. Big Cliff going down low, missing like easy layups. Those need to be dunks when you're 6'11". Everything you take up needs to be like prime Shaq. Just take it up. If you get fouled, so be it. You don't need to be struggling trying to get layups.
Yeah. Because what do you got? You got Nelson at 2 for 8 and Amori at 2 for 5. And Nelson only took 2 threes today, so those are guys that got to clean up. For sure. That's where a lot of that's coming from. You can take it from your guards at times, but those guys got to clean it up down low. So just an overall frustrating loss. I think that's the best way to describe it. It was. So you don't I mean, it's one thing if it was just like back, but you got to that 30 seconds and you thought the game was won.
Yes.
That's the part that hurts. Where I'm just like, not how you wanted to finish it all.
Yeah.
Just a lot of bad decisions. So there was stuff that led up to it, but you had it won in that last 30. So, and like I said, I don't want to put all this on Phylon because, like Mike was saying there too, and I totally agree with. I think he played a good game. I thought defensively he was one of our better guys for sure. So I'm not going to put this all on. Plus, he's a freshman. I understand that he's playing better than that at times, but he's still a freshman. He should have been put in that position. And your coach, those are what you get paid the big bucks for to bail him out in those times. So
that's true.
Did you watch any of the other SEC games today?
I watched a little bit of the Auburn-Kentucky one. They got to a point where they had some sort of technical difficulty, so I didn't get to see like the
Transformer blew. Probably
really?
Kentucky blowing it. Yeah, Transformer blew it.
Okay.
So
I watched some of that one. I might pay attention to the Florida and who are they playing? A&M right now.
Yep. So this is if Florida's trying to make sure they can stay on that one line. It's a big game for them. And Texas A&M, I mean, what are they, like a 2 seed right now? I think, or at least trying to play their way back into 2. So
are they a 2 seed?
I know they're 12, but I thought the last time I looked that they were a 2 seed. No worse than a 3, but I think they're a 2. So
I was thinking more like along the lines of 3 seed, but you could be right.
I could be. Oh wait, are we taking a drink again?
Mm-hmm.
What's funny? The bigger game right now is like Georgia, Texas, because that's a bubble game.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, both of these 2 teams are 5-10 in conference, and this is a bubble game. But Georgia's whooping them. Georgia's like one of the hardest, toughest, terrible teams record-wise. Out there, because they just took down Florida when we had our show last.
They just beat Florida and Georgia. Yes.
Yeah. So they're a team that you don't necessarily want to play, but their record says that you should be beating them every time. It's crazy, but I don't think they ever just go out and get blown out since earlier in the year. But they are whooping up on Texas, so that's an important game for those 2 teams. And then, like you said, Texas A&M and Florida, that's just for seeding.
Yeah.
And I think Oklahoma lost a heartbreaker that they needed today against Ole Miss, which might move them off the bubble as well.
Yeah. Man.
Well, and I think those are the biggest games going on. Yeah. Oh, Vandy did take down Missouri in overtime. So
I saw that.
Yep.
Houston won, St. John's. What's the deal with Kansas? I know we mentioned them, was it this past Tuesday on the podcast, but what has happened there? I don't pay a lot of attention to Kansas basketball, but
no.
I would like to see where they are right now. I don't think they're on the bubble.
I don't think they're on the bubble, but it's not looking good. So the question on Tuesday was, what are you most surprised by? And this for anybody who missed the show. And if you missed the show on Tuesday, what's wrong with you? The question was, what's more surprising, Kansas being this bad or Auburn being that good? And we had an Auburn person in the chat, and she even said Kansas being this bad.
Because wasn't Kansas a preseason number 1 or 2?
They were high. They were top 5. We'll at least the very least say top 5. But I think you're right. And then they moved around a bunch, right?
And then they have to play at Houston Monday. They're going to lose that game, and then they play Arizona.
Houston is trying to lock up a 1 seed. So
Arizona next Saturday. Yes. Houston's trying to lock up that number 1 seed. So Houston, and then they have Arizona next weekend. So
let me give you your bubble watch and your bracketology real quick, bro.
Okay.
But yeah, that was it's no. What are they? Big 12 now. So they have them as a lock still. As far as the Big 12, Houston, Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa State, Kansas, and BYU. So it doesn't look as bad as what you think yet, I guess.
Gotcha.
But your bracketology, Georgia, first team out, Rodg, Texas, the last team in, and they're playing right now. So that's why that one is an interesting one for sure. I think the only thing I don't like about this, and there's probably a search way I could do it, but we got Kansas, Arkansas is a 10 seed. So starting with SC, Auburn's a 1. They got Duke as a 1. They had us as a 1 until today, of course, and Houston is another 1. And then Florida as a 2. So Florida wins tonight and Alabama loses. That might switch them. But they, the guys on there were talking about Tennessee. Tennessee's a 2 seed, so they're thinking about if they can move up.
Yeah.
So let me Texas A&M, like you said, you were thinking they're a 3 seed on the bracketology before today. So they could use this win as well.
And again, all this could change within the next week, so we'll see.
Yeah. And like you said, do you think they played Houston tough the first time. I think Houston plays Kansas.
Okay.
Houston, so Kansas is a 6 seed right now.
Wow. I thought they would be lower than that, but okay.
Yeah. They have played well, and you can't think of a big game they've won in a while.
Yeah.
So that is interesting.
I wonder if going
I hear you, Kat. Thanks for sticking in with us. We appreciate you.
I wonder if going into the tournament, people are going to be like, watch out for Kansas. I know they're like a 6 and 7 seed, but that's a team you don't want to face. I'm like, that's a team I do want to face.
Let's
go ahead and play them.
I mean, and people always say that because of the name, for sure.
Exactly,
because they have not played well.
Exactly.
Kat, 1,000%. I'm watching this game the other night. Was that Thursday, right? Because we had shows on.
Yes.
That was awesome. First down, taking down a team like LSU, always great. At home, but it went to overtime, right? Yeah. I'm watching this game and then it's a Bama. I mean, it's a Bama football game. So that was a huge win for them. And I remember when we first got here, the women's program was a lot better than it has been in recent years. Yeah. So it's great to see them bouncing back. And that's never off topic. That's basketball. So we definitely need to start showing them some more love. That was a huge win.
Kudos to the women's basketball team.
Yeah. Kudos.
Huge win for them. I think they play at Oklahoma the next game. Oklahoma's number 13th ranked, so that's going to be Sunday. Actually, tomorrow. I'm sorry. So, to Cat's point, I mean, you're beating LSU. The LSU is a huge program, so huge win for the women's basketball team. Kudos to them.
Yep. So, other than that, let's say the Georgia-Texas game's going to halftime. Texas A&M in Florida. Looks like a fun game so far. This is two interesting teams there. Tough one for the Tide tonight, though, man. That was
tough. I just hope that we can kind of bounce back from this on Wednesday.
Tonight we took an L, but then we got to bounce back. No,
I set you up for that one. Oh my gosh, yeah. It sucks, but I think we'll be all right Wednesday. We'll get a victory there, and then the big one obviously is next Saturday afternoon when we go to Auburn, and anything could happen there.
What the phrase is, we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory today. Is what we.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. We were already thinking about celebrating, and I was thinking about having fun, and then all of a sudden you're just like, this sucks.
Wow, yeah.
Is it not that the players will care, but it's almost you're at the point where the Alabama-Auburn game next week might not mean anything, depending on how the rest of this week plays out.
What do you mean by that? What do you
Auburn will have the number 1 seed locked up, so
right.
They're going to win the SEC, right? If you beat Florida, and I have to look at the whole standings where that might keep you ahead of them. It might not matter, especially depending on what happens tonight. or you might be playing for like if Florida or Alabama ends up like with a 2 or 3 seed and you're at least on the it depends on, I guess, your seeding SEC tournament wise, and where you're going to be. But at the same time, I don't know that, like we've talked about, the top seeds care about the SEC tournament.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that game might not matter as far as any of the seeding or anything at that point.
So let me ask you a question. If Alabama makes it to that, once we get to the SEC tournament, let's just say we lose second or third game. Will that really affect our bracket seeding?
No.
Okay.
Well, but we've got a double bye though at this point. So second or third game is like the championship game. It's not as long for the other teams anyway. But no, I think if you play a game or two and lose, I think the body of work is way bigger.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of the big guys really want to get to that SEC championship game.
So, what's the whole point? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think rest is going to be more important at that point, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The last question. Can anybody beat Auburn in this tournament?
In the SEC or the March Madness?
The March Madness.
Anything could happen in March Madness, but
that's your way of saying I don't know.
I don't know. and I hate saying this as an Alabama fan, but Auburn looks like, defensively, with the defense that they brought to us in Tuscaloosa, if they play defense like that the rest of their games this season, I don't see anybody beating them.
Yeah.
But again, it's March Madness. Anything could happen. They can have a bad game, and other teams just have a really, really good game. So we'll see. And somebody once told me that friends don't let friends pick Auburn. So keep that in mind once we go into once we start selecting our brackets and picking out winners and stuff like that. I can only take them so far because of what this person told me. You said
I'm the one that coined the phrase, so it is a correct coining of the phrase.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. Would you pick in a bracket? Would you ever pick Auburn to win the whole thing?
No. Let's say Auburn wins the whole thing and I win the bracket because I picked Auburn, then everyone will know. I'll never let that down.
So let's just say, let's say you fill out 5 brackets, whatever.
Right.
You wouldn't pick Auburn to win the whole thing in any one of those.
I would. Because it's still the smartest choice.
Herb, you said friends don't let friends pick Auburn. Now you're going back on
I'm only saying that because Sadie's here. As soon as she hangs up, we'll what's up, Sadie? How you doing?
Sadie, good evening, Sadie.
Yes, they will be insufferable.
Yes.
I've already uninvited them to the house.
They can't come over.
No. So
kudos. I'm serious. No, kudos to Sadie. Shout out to Sadie. Thank you for joining us. Congrats on y'all's win in Rupp Arena today. So kudos.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you the one thing. When we got the 3-second call, Rodg, I turned the game off. I didn't even see the last shot until later. Yeah, I was like, we're not winning this. I knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, but I didn't think they were going to hit a 3 at the last second. I was like, come on, bro.
I just knew it was collapsing and Rodg, honestly, when I knew things were bad, when they got the 3-point play, and then they missed the free throw, and then they got the I said, oh my God, it felt like the end of the South Carolina game in football.
I was hoping that it would go to overtime and we would somehow win in overtime. But once he hit the 3, I was like, well, you got to be kidding me.
I wasn't watching. I just wait for alerts on my phone. I said, I can't do this.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We will be back on Tuesday. Like I said, we'll probably cover the SEC a little bit more in depth as far as basketball. Look towards the next game. When do we play? Are we Tuesday or Wednesday this week?
We're Wednesday. And then Saturday.
Okay. So finally, we don't have to be watching the game in the middle of our show. So we'll talk about that. We've got a couple little Alabama and NFL news to talk about, combine stuff. Yep. We'll go over some of those scoring, rating, and where we see everybody projecting out to. Yeah. And maybe we'll have another little debate. So
yeah.
Appreciate you, Kat. Roll Tide. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Sadie, Roll Tide. I know you want to say it. You can type it in if you want to.
Everyone have a wonderful night. Love y'all.
Peace out.
As always.
Roll Tide.